Hey guys, it's TikTak here and welcome back to another video. This week we have a big one for you. We are doing the RECOMBOBULATOR update and giving you everything you need to know about the new patch. I wanted to wait out for all the results to come back in to give you guys the best information I possibly can. So I waited a couple of days and I'm finally putting out this video for you guys to tell you what perks to pick, what guns to pick, how you know you still have a god rolled weapon, and all that kind of stuff. We will go into this video as clear and concise as possible. It is a lot of stuff and can be very confusing. I will try to minimize that to the greatest effort. I will break down the video in a couple of categories and then I'll post timestamps as well afterwards. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully we cover everything that you need to do, and let's get right into it. So how do you know what gun to level up? Since all guns can be the same, what should you level? Well, first of all guns aren't the same. They are very similar, but they aren't technically all the same. When you convert a legacy gun, and if you don't know, legacy guns are the guns, all the guns in the game before this patch, you will get a special 6th perk. Now, depending on what this special 6th perk is how you should modify your weapon. There is, your weapon causes affliction damage, which is something that was given to us free before. Now it is a 6th perk. There is a headshot kill explodes an enemy for 30% damage. There is a headshot damage increase after 5 consecutive headshots. There is a special perk that damage from your rifle snares the enemy by 30%. And lastly, there is one that increases impact and stun potential on your weapon. Now, depending on what rolls you get, this is how you modify your weapon. You play everything off of this one particular perk. This is very important. Make sure you understand that if you have something that says affliction damage, you do not want to run a headshot modifier. We will explain the modifiers next. I just want you guys to understand this is how you tell if your weapon is good. Or not good, but this is how you tell what perks you should pick, because you have the option to now. There is a perk that is better than all the rest, but we'll get to that in a moment. So now every gun in the game has 5 customizable perks and a 6th special one. This means that every gun in the game is quite similar, and the only differentiating value is that last special 6th perk. However, there are certain ways that you can roll your gun, and it kind of falls back to what I was saying before on what that perk is. So let's get this out of the way. What is the best 6th perk to have? And it is absolutely uncontested, 100% damage to affliction. This is the highest DPS you can get in the game, as it's an extra 45% compared to the lower numbers of all of the 5th slot special rolls. We will go over what else you can roll on your gun, or how you should roll your gun, like I was saying, according to what your 6th special perk is, and we will show you guys what, if any, differences you should make to your weapon. So now you can change all 5 of your perks individually and make them what you want, but they all follow the same category. The first one is always going to be a damage perk, such as damage, base damage, crit chance, crit damage, and the last one could be fire rate. Your second perk is always going to be a utility perk, such as longer durability, better stability, reload speed, or magazine size. Your third perk is always going to be an element such as nature, fire, water, or physical element, but maybe we'll even get into that. I don't know. Lastly, it's going to be another damage perk. This one is going to be either crit chance, crit damage, base damage, and this is the only slot that can roll headshot damage. Your last slot is going to be damage to missed monsters, affliction damage, damage to snared targets or stunned targets, something along those lines. This is the perk that you need to combine with your special 6th perk to get the maximum benefits out of your gun. So if you have a gun that has affliction damage, then you need to pull this perk into affliction bonus damage to 45%. This is how you actually modify your gun to do the most damage it can absolutely do. What you do not want to do is make your gun crit damage, crit chance, stability, crit chance, and then it's headshot damage makes the things explode. Like, that's a complete waste. So you don't want a gun, especially since they nerf crit chance, that is just full crit chance. It just doesn't work anymore. Another thing you want to be on the lookout for is make sure the actual gun can do what that special 6th perk is. You do not want a shotgun that gives you extra headshot damage. You do not want an LMG that gives you headshot damage. Those things just do not mesh well with that gun. You need to modify the gun, and hopefully the gun you do get has a decent 6th perk. So you bust your butt and you get something from a mission and it's a transform, and it transforms into an LMG and it has a headshot damage perk on it. It's not going to be good. I mean, it'll be fine technically, but you want to min-max here. We're all about min-maxing. That is what you are going to look for. You're going to look for things that go well with each other. It's all about combining every perk to make the best out of your weapon. So you want to min-max to your best of abilities. This is how you do it. Crit chance has been kind of nerfed into the ground, and it's not king top dog anymore. However, it still comes up in 2 specific scenarios, and we'll touch on those too. But currently, base damage, it seems to be the way to go. So you finally get a new weapon, and it has that almighty affliction damage as the 6th slot. You take that and you run with it. What you're gonna want to roll on most assault rifles, I can't say any. Technically, you can run whatever you want, but this is min-maxing we're talking about here. The first one you're going to want to do is damage. The second one is always going to be magazine size or reload. The reason behind that, and the only time you really want reload over magazine size, is for a gun that can reload after every shot. So something like a couple of shotguns, like the Backbreaker, the Templar, the Enforcer, something like that. The Super Shredder comes to mind, the Ralphie, things like that. You might want reload speed, but 9 times out of 10, you're going to want magazine size. Third perk is your element. First of all, let's touch on this real quick. Energy is in the worst spot it's ever been in. Since you can put energy on every gun in the game, it's not special anymore. Secondly, you're gonna want to do 100% of your damage instead of 67%, which now that you can change the perk to what you want, whatever you're lacking, you can always just build. Lastly, physical element. It's not a physical element, it's just extra damage. The reason why it's extra damage is because it gets, all elemental husks get damage resistance. So it just does a little bit more damage to element husks because the damage is a little higher than a natural element. But still, element is the way to go. So whatever you're lacking, fire, water, or nature, you build whatever you need. This, the fourth perk, you're gonna want base damage once again, or on certain guns, you want headshot damage. Those guns are the Hunter Killer, the Ranger, the One Shot, the Razorblade, the Dragonfly, the Dragon's Roar, the Zapatron, or the Deathstalker. The reason you want headshot damage or base damage on these guns is for 2 reasons. One, they have a higher headshot damage multiplier, meaning their headshots damage at a base just happen to do more. Or 2, if you weren't lucky enough to get that affliction perk, this is where you can actually add headshot damage. As you can see here, my Razorblade has getting 5 headshots increases ranged weapon damage by 30%. So I went with headshot damage. I made this weapon to be a mist monster killer, and it does that very well. Lastly, you're going to want, if you have an affliction roll, this is the spot where you want to add 45% extra damage to afflicted targets. This will be your top damaging gun. With all things considered, you will be doing 125% extra damage after your second bullet starts causing the affliction. This is the top way to go for damage, unless you have either one of the guns I just mentioned and you roll headshot damage, or if you're unlucky and you do not get that coveted affliction 6th perk, you can run a headshot damage gun like I have here. The reason why the Razorblade is decent is because it shoots 3 bullets instead of 1, so you get that modifier acting quickly. Now, crit isn't completely dead, it still works on 2, count them, 2 characters. That is the Rabbit Raider Jonesy, or any form of the Raider shotgun hero, and also the Ranger Deadeye. Both of these characters have crit chance increase and crit damage inside of their personal perks. If that is the case, you would want to run something like crit chance, reload, or mag size, especially reload speed on the Raider shotgun hero, because most shotguns you can reload after shooting 1 gun. Second or third, you would want to run an element, any element you want. Do not run energy damage, damage. Do not run physical damage on a shotgun hero. Do not do it, or a pistol, because their damage fall off is high, and hitting mist monsters from far away with a pistol is not recommended too much. Then you would want crit damage in the 4th slot, and then if you have it, affliction damage increase, and then your 6th slot will be affliction. That would be the best of best rolls you could possibly do with either one of these characters. This is the only time you should really run crit, but like I said before, we are talking about min-maxing here. You can run basically anything you want and the game will be beaten. You do not need the level of weapons they did. Epic somehow forgot to actually increase the difficulty of the game by giving us tier 5 weapons when we've only had up to tier 3. But that's a story for another day. Let's see what they come out with. So lastly, I just wanted to touch on what is considered a quote-unquote good or god-rolled weapon from out of the gate. Things are a little different now. So first of all, you are going to look to see what that 6th perk is. I cannot stress how important this is to actually make your gun mingle well with all the other perks. Secondly, the rarity of the perk is a lot more important now. As you can see here, most of the guns that you will get have the following rarity perks: gray, green, blue, and an element or another blue perk. That is what you will be getting most of the time. That means you have to level up the first perk 4 times, the second one 4 times, the third one 3 times, and the last 2 twice. That is a lot of perk and re-perk which they introduced into the store, which I'm sure you guys know. I don't think I have to touch on that and how you farm it. However, just know that technically, since you can make whatever gun you want, you don't need legendary perks now in certain categories. All you need is a higher tier category. You can see on my Argon assault rifle how it's 4 blue rolls. That is 4 times I do not have to level up that individual perk. That is how you know your gun is decent. If it has more than the standard gray, green, blue, it is something like green, blue, everything will level up much faster, and you only have to farm 2 types of evolution materials versus 4. So that's really it, guys. I tried to answer every question I could possibly think of that you guys would have. That's really it, guys. I really hope you enjoyed the video. I tried to answer every question I possibly could that most people ask me on a daily basis. I think we got to most of them. If you have any more questions, feel free to ask me in the comments below. You could do the exact opposite of what I said in this video, 100%, and still get by perfectly fine. None of this stuff is actually 100% needed. These guns technically weren't even needed. But if you want to know how to min-max and how to have the most efficient and effective weapon you can, this is definitely the guide for you. I tried to keep it short. I tried to keep it concise. There was a lot more I wanted to touch on, but just didn't have a chance. Like I said, if you have any more questions or comments, just leave them in the comment section below. I will get back to them. If you want to join our Discord of over 1,100 members, feel free. The link is in the description below as well. That's really it, guys. I just want to say thanks for watching. Stay tuned this week for the Storm Report, where we discuss our 1 assault rifle we get. Just 1.